My rent in Seattle was $3,200 a month for a one-bedroom apartment. I could hear my neighbors sneeze through the walls. I spent 40 minutes in traffic to buy groceries. Then I moved to a town in the Ozarks with a population of 4,000 people. My mortgage on a 3-bedroom house with 5 acres is $780 a month. I grow vegetables in my backyard. I haven't sat in traffic in 2 years. My cost of living dropped 73%. Not by cutting back, by relocating. But here's what nobody tells you when they romanticize small-town America. Not all rural regions are created equal. Some have hospitals, some don't. Some have fiber internet. Some still use dial-up. Some are growing. Some are dying so fast the school district is consolidating 3 counties into one building. I spent 6 months researching rural America. Not the tourist towns everyone knows. Not the dying Rust Belt cities everyone avoids. The hidden middle. The regions that actually work for real people trying to build real lives. This is about the 10 best rural regions in America to live, retire, or buy property in 2026. Real data, real trade-offs, real people who actually made the move. Let's go. Number 10. The Palouse. Most people have never heard of the Palouse. It's a region that straddles the Washington-Idaho border, centered around the towns of Pullman, Moscow, and Lewiston. The landscape is distinctive. Rolling hills covered in wheat and lentils. It looks like someone draped golden fabric over gentle mountains. Photographers love it. Farmers have worked it for over a century. Here's why it's on this list. The Palouse has something most rural regions don't. 2 universities, Washington State University in Pullman and the University of Idaho in Moscow, 8 miles apart. Those universities create an economic anchor. They employ thousands of people. They bring young people to the area. They create cultural amenities you don't normally find in towns of 25 to 30,000 people. Pullman and Moscow have coffee shops, breweries, bookstores, live music, farmers markets. The vibe is college town meets farm country. It's intellectually alive in a way most rural places aren't. The cost of living is reasonable. Median home price in Pullman is around $310,000. In Moscow, about $290,000. You can rent a 2-bedroom apartment for $1,100 to $1,300. That's significantly cheaper than Seattle, Portland, or Boise, but not dirt cheap like some rural areas. You're paying a premium for the university town amenities. The climate is 4 seasons with cold winters and warm summers. Snow is common from December to February. The area gets about 21 inches of precipitation annually, which is enough to keep things green. Healthcare is good for a rural area. Pullman has a regional hospital. Moscow has Redmond Medical Center. You're not driving 2 hours for basic medical care. Internet infrastructure is excellent. Both towns have fiber optic internet available. Speeds up to a gigabit. You can work remotely from here without technical issues. The job market is dominated by the universities, agriculture, and increasingly, remote workers. If you're not connected to the university or farming, you'll likely need remote income, or you'll be working in service industries. I spoke with a couple, both in their early 50s, named David and Karen Liu. They moved to Moscow from San Jose in 2023. Both work remotely in tech. Here's what Karen told me over a video call. We sold our San Jose house for $1.4 million. Bought a house in Moscow for $275,000. We have a yard. We can walk to downtown. There's actual culture here because of the university. We go to lectures, concerts, art shows, things we never had time for in California because we were too busy commuting and working to afford to live there. Our quality of life improved dramatically. But you have to be okay with small. Moscow has 25,000 people. That's small. The nearest major city is Spokane, 80 miles north. If you need big city amenities regularly, this won't work. The Palouse has challenges. It's geographically isolated. You're hours from major airports. Winter weather can make travel difficult. The political climate in Idaho is very conservative, which matters to some people. But if you value intellectual stimulation, natural beauty, and affordability, the Palouse offers a unique combination that's hard to find elsewhere in rural America. Number 9. The Finger Lakes region of New York. This is upstate New York, centered around 11 long, narrow lakes that look like fingers on a map. The main towns are Ithaca, Geneva, Canandaigua, and several smaller communities. The Finger Lakes region has been quietly transforming over the last 20 years. It's gone from declining Rust Belt to legitimate destination for remote workers, retirees, and people seeking rural beauty with urban amenities nearby. Let's start with what makes this region special. The landscape is stunning. The lakes are deep, clean, and surrounded by rolling hills covered in vineyards and forest. There are over 100 wineries in the region. The wine industry has brought tourism, restaurants, and economic vitality. Ithaca, home to Cornell University and Ithaca College, is the cultural anchor. Population about 32,000. It's progressive, educated, and punches way above its weight for cultural amenities. Bookstores, theaters, music venues, farm-to-table restaurants, co-ops. It feels more like a small city than a rural town. The cost of living is moderate. Median home price in Ithaca is around $340,000. In smaller towns like Trumansburg or Watkins Glen, you can find homes for $180,000 to $250,000. Rent in Ithaca runs about $1,400 to $1,700 for a two-bedroom. In smaller towns, closer to $1,000 to $1,200. That's affordable compared to downstate New York or major cities, but not cheap compared to the South or Great Plains. The climate is classic Northeast. Cold, snowy winters. Lake effect snow can dump significant amounts. Beautiful fall colors. Pleasant summers. The area gets about 37 inches of precipitation annually. Healthcare is excellent. Cayuga Medical Center in Ithaca is a regional hospital with good services. Geneva has Finger Lakes Health. You're not medically isolated here. Internet infrastructure is good in towns, spotty in rural areas. Ithaca has fiber in many areas. Smaller towns have cable or DSL. It's workable for remote work but not universally excellent. The job market is diverse for a rural region. Cornell and Ithaca College employ thousands. The wine industry creates hospitality and agriculture jobs. Tourism is significant, and there's a growing remote worker population. I found a retiree named Susan Palmer who moved to Geneva from Northern Virginia in 2022. She's 68, widowed, and was looking for a place to stretch her retirement savings. She shared this in an email. I bought a small house in Geneva for $195,000. It's walking distance to the lake and downtown. My property taxes are about 4,000% annually, which is reasonable for New York. I have access to good health care. There's culture and things to do. The wine trail is beautiful. I take classes at Hobart and William Smith colleges through their senior audit program. I'm not isolated, I'm engaged, and I'm spending about half what I was spending in Virginia. The winters are tough, I won't lie. February is brutal. But I joined a book club and a hiking group. You stay active or you get depressed. That's the trade-off. The Finger Lakes region works particularly well for people who want rural beauty and outdoor recreation, but also need access to culture, education, and healthcare. It's not wilderness, it's civilized rural. The challenges are weather, which some people love and others can't tolerate, and property taxes, which are higher than most rural regions due to New York state tax structure. But for people fleeing expensive northeastern cities who don't want to completely abandon the region, the Finger Lakes offers a compelling middle ground. Number 8. The Western North Carolina Mountains. This region includes Asheville, but also dozens of smaller towns like Brevard, Hendersonville, Black Mountain, and Boone. The landscape is the southern Appalachian Mountains. Forested peaks, rushing streams, waterfalls, and a climate that's milder than you'd expect for mountains. Western North Carolina has been discovered. That's both good and bad. The good is that the region has infrastructure, services, and economic vitality. The bad is that prices have risen significantly in the last decade. Let's start with Asheville, the largest city in the region with about 95,000 people. Asheville has become expensive. Median home price is now around $450,000. Rent for a two-bedroom apartment is $1,800 to $2,200. That's not rural pricing anymore. That's small city pricing driven by intense demand from retirees and remote workers. But here's the key. If you're willing to go 20 to 40 minutes outside Asheville, the prices drop significantly and you still get access to the amenities. Towns like Canton, Waynesville, or Marshall have median home prices in the $250,000 to $320,000 range. You're still in the mountains. You're still close to hiking, rivers, and outdoor recreation. You're just not in the epicenter. The climate is one of the region's biggest selling points. 4 distinct seasons but mild. Winter lows rarely drop below 20 degrees. Summer highs rarely exceed 90. You get snow, but it's manageable. Fall colors are spectacular. The region gets about 45 to 50 inches of precipitation annually, which keeps everything green and lush. Healthcare is excellent. Mission Health System, now part of HCA Healthcare, operates multiple hospitals in the region. Asheville has a Level 2 trauma center. You have access to specialists and advanced care. Internet infrastructure has improved dramatically. Most towns now have cable internet with decent speeds. Some areas have fiber. Remote work is feasible. The culture is progressive for the South. Asheville in particular is known for being liberal, artsy, and inclusive. The food scene is nationally recognized. Craft breweries are everywhere. There's live music, art galleries, farmers markets. But here's what people don't talk about. The region is becoming a victim of its own success. Traffic in Asheville has gotten bad. Housing prices are pushing out locals. Service industry workers can't afford to live in the city they serve. There's tension between longtime residents and newcomers. The smaller towns are more affordable but also more conservative and less cosmopolitan than Asheville. You might find that the place that's actually in your budget doesn't have the culture you moved to the region for. I spoke with a man named Marcus Thompson, 43, who moved to Canton from Atlanta in 2021. He works remotely in software development. Marcus was blunt in our phone conversation. I love the mountains. I love the outdoor access. I can mountain bike or fly fish any day I want. But Canton is not Asheville. It's a former paper mill town that's slowly gentrifying. There's one good coffee shop. The restaurant options are limited. For culture, I drive to Asheville. That's fine most of the time. But the drive is getting old, and Asheville is getting expensive and crowded. I'm wondering if I should have just moved to Asheville and paid more, or if I should have chosen a different region entirely. The in-between is awkward. That's the Western North Carolina dilemma. The region is genuinely beautiful with great climate and good infrastructure, but it's been discovered you're competing with a lot of other people who want the same thing. Prices reflect that. If you have the budget and don't mind being part of a growing transplant community, Western North Carolina is excellent. If you're on a tight budget or want to feel like a pioneer rather than part of a trend, look elsewhere. Number 7. The Driftless region. Most people have never heard of the Driftless. It's a geological anomaly, a region in the upper Midwest that was bypassed by glaciers during the last ice age. While the rest of the Midwest is flat, the Driftless has steep hills, limestone bluffs, and deep valleys carved by rivers. It's shockingly beautiful and completely unexpected. The region covers parts of southwestern Wisconsin, northeastern Iowa, southeastern Minnesota, and a sliver of northwestern Illinois. Main towns include Viroqua, Wisconsin, Decorah, Iowa, and La Crosse, Wisconsin. Here's why the Driftless is on this list. It's affordable. Median home prices in most Driftless towns range from $140,000 to $220,000. You can buy a renovated farmhouse on 10 acres for under $250,000 in many areas. The landscape is beautiful in a way most people don't associate with the Midwest. Bluffs, forests, trout streams. It's popular with cyclists, kayakers, and hikers. The region has developed a reputation for sustainable agriculture, organic farming, and local food systems. Towns like Viroqua have an outsized number of organic farms, CSAs, and farm-to-table restaurants for their size. This has attracted a specific demographic. Urban professionals, often from Chicago, Minneapolis, or Madison, who want to homestead or farm on a small scale. Retirees who value natural beauty and community. Artists and craftspeople looking for affordable studio space. The culture is an interesting mix. The region is historically conservative, farming-based, and Norwegian Lutheran. But the influx of back-to-the-landers and organic farmers has created pockets of progressive culture in otherwise conservative counties. Viroqua, Wisconsin, population about 5,000, is the poster child. It has a food co-op, multiple organic farms, a vibrant main street, and a school system that draws people from surrounding areas. It punches way above its weight. The climate is harsh. Winters are long and cold. -10 to -20 degrees is common in January. Snow accumulation is significant. If you hate winter, the Driftless will break you. But if you don't mind winter, or even enjoy it, the Driftless offers affordable land, natural beauty, and genuine community. Healthcare is adequate but not excellent. Smaller towns have clinics. La Crosse has a regional hospital with good services. You're not in a medical desert, but you're not in a medical hub either. Internet infrastructure is improving but still spotty in rural areas. Towns have cable or DSL. Rural properties might be on satellite or fixed wireless. Remote work is possible but not always ideal. I found a couple, Sarah and Mike Chen, both 38, who moved to rural Vernon County, Wisconsin from Chicago in 2020. They bought 22 acres with a farmhouse for $185,000. Sarah shared their experience in a blog post. We grow vegetables and raise chickens. We sell at the Viroqua Farmers Market and through a small CSA. We're not making a living from the farm. Mike works remotely for a Chicago company. The farm income covers our grocery bill and a bit more. But we own our land. Our housing costs are minimal. We're raising our kids in a way that would have been impossible in Chicago. They have space, animals, outdoor time. The community is small but tight. People help each other. But you have to fit in. We're Asian American in a very white area. We've been welcomed, but we're definitely visible. And the winters are no joke. Last year we had snow on the ground from November to April. If you're not prepared for that, don't move here. The Driftless appeals to people who want affordable rural land, natural beauty, and connection to agriculture and local food systems. It's not for people who need diversity, big city amenities, or mild weather. But for a specific type of person, the Driftless offers something increasingly rare: a functioning rural region with affordable property, decent services, and an emerging culture that values sustainability and community. Number 6. The Ozarks. The Ozarks stretch across northern Arkansas and southern Missouri. It's a region of forested hills, clear rivers, limestone caves, and towns that range from thriving to barely hanging on. The main towns are Fayetteville and Bentonville in Arkansas, and Branson and Springfield in Missouri. Let's talk about why the Ozarks are having a moment. Northwest Arkansas, specifically the Fayetteville-Bentonville corridor, has become one of the fastest-growing regions in America. Walmart is headquartered in Bentonville. That's brought billions in investment, thousands of jobs, and an influx of educated, well-paid workers. The result is a region that feels more like Austin or Boulder than rural Arkansas. Bentonville has a world-class art museum, the Crystal Bridges, funded by the Walton family. It's free to enter. The mountain biking trail network in the region is considered among the best in the country. The food scene is surprisingly sophisticated, but Northwest Arkansas is also getting expensive. Median home price in Bentonville is around $350,000. In Fayetteville, about $290,000. That's rural pricing by California standards, but it's high for the region. Here's the opportunity. If you're willing to go 30 to 60 minutes outside the Fayetteville-Bentonville corridor, you can find much cheaper property while still having access to the amenities. Towns in the Arkansas Ozarks like Eureka Springs, Mountain Home, or Harrison have median home prices in the $160,000 to $200,000 range. Missouri Ozark towns like Mountain View or West Plains are similar or cheaper. The climate is mild for the latitude. 4 seasons with hot, humid summers and cool winters. Snow is occasional but not heavy. The growing season is long, about 200 days. The landscape is beautiful. Forested hills, rivers perfect for floating and fishing, and a genuine sense of wildness in places. The cost of living outside of the Bentonville area is very low. Property taxes are among the lowest in the country. Arkansas has no tax on groceries and relatively low income tax. Healthcare is good in the main towns, adequate in smaller areas. Springfield, Missouri has multiple hospitals and medical centers. Fayetteville has Washington Regional Medical Center. Smaller towns have clinics and access to emergency services, though you might drive 45 minutes for specialized care. Internet infrastructure is improving rapidly in Northwest Arkansas. Bentonville and Fayetteville have fiber in many areas. Smaller towns have cable or DSL. Rural areas are still catching up but improving. The culture is complex. Northwest Arkansas is progressive and cosmopolitan compared to the rest of the region. Bentonville has become genuinely diverse due to the Walmart effect and the immigrant communities that have formed around it. But 30 miles in any direction, you're in Trump country. Conservative, religious, traditional. That divide creates tension. I spoke with a retiree named Bill Jensen, 67, who moved to Mountain Home, Arkansas from Minnesota in 2023. Bill was direct in our conversation. I'm here for the weather and the cost of living. I bought a 3-bedroom house on 2 acres for $178,000. My property taxes are $1,200 a year. $1,200. In Minnesota, I was paying $5,000. I fish, I hike, I kayak. The outdoor recreation is incredible, but the culture is very conservative. I'm moderate politically, and I've learned to just not discuss politics. The people are friendly if you don't push buttons. Healthcare is decent. I have to drive 40 minutes to see my cardiologist, but that's manageable. For me, the trade-offs are worth it. I'm stretching my retirement savings way further here than I could in Minnesota. The Ozarks work for people who value natural beauty, outdoor recreation, low cost of living, and don't need big city culture. It doesn't work for people who need political or cultural diversity, or who can't tolerate conservative social environments. But for retirees on fixed incomes, remote workers who prioritize outdoor lifestyle, or people simply priced out of other regions, the Ozarks offer legitimate value. Number 5. The western slope of Colorado. Most people know the Front Range. Denver, Boulder, Fort Collins. Expensive, crowded, booming. The western slope is everything the Front Range is not. Rural, affordable, and largely unknown to outsiders. The western slope refers to the part of Colorado west of the Continental Divide. Main towns include Grand Junction, Montrose, Delta, and Gunnison. The landscape is dramatic. High desert, red rock formations, river valleys, and mountains. It's visually stunning in a way that rivals southern Utah but without the crowds. Here's why the western slope is compelling. Grand Junction, the largest town with about 67,000 people, has median home prices around $320,000. Montrose is about $290,000. Smaller towns like Delta or Paonia are significantly cheaper, often in the $180,000 to $240,000 range. That's affordable for Colorado. You're getting Colorado's outdoor access, public lands, and quality of life for prices that are half or less than the Front Range. The climate is high desert, 4 seasons with cold winters and hot summers. Grand Junction gets about 9 inches of precipitation annually. Montrose about 11. That means over 300 days of sunshine. If you have seasonal affective disorder, this is paradise. The outdoor recreation is world-class. Colorado National Monument, Black Canyon of the Gunnison, Mesa Verde, Arches and Canyonlands in Utah are all within 2 hours. Mountain biking, hiking, skiing, rafting, hunting, fishing. It's all accessible. The culture is conservative but more libertarian than Southern conservative. Live and let live. Don't tread on me. People value independence and privacy. Healthcare is good. Grand Junction has St. Mary's Medical Center, a regional hospital with solid services. Montrose has Montrose Regional Health System. You're not medically isolated. Internet infrastructure is decent in towns, improving in rural areas. Grand Junction has fiber available in many areas. Smaller towns have cable. Remote work is feasible. The job market is the challenge. The Western Slope economy is based on agriculture, energy, natural gas, and coal, both declining, tourism, and healthcare. If you're not in one of those sectors, you're likely working remotely or commuting to the Front Range, which is a 3-plus-hour drive. I found a couple, Emma and Josh Rodriguez, both 34, who moved to Montrose from Denver in 2022. Both work remotely in tech. Emma shared their story over email. We were priced out of Denver, we looked at the western slope and fell in love. We bought a house on 3 acres for $265,000. We have mountain views. We're 15 minutes from downtown Montrose. We ski at Telluride about 90 minutes away. We mountain bike, hike, and kayak. Our quality of life is exponentially better. But we're isolated. Our families are on the Front Range. We see them 3 or 4 times a year instead of weekly. The town is small. There's not a lot of cultural amenities. We drive to Grand Junction for better restaurants and shopping. And finding community has been slow. It's a transient area. People come and go. Building deep friendships takes time. For us, it's worth it. But you have to really value the outdoor lifestyle, because that's what you're getting. The Western Slope appeals to outdoor enthusiasts, remote workers, and retirees who prioritize natural beauty and don't need urban culture. It doesn't appeal to people who need career opportunities, big city energy, or easy access to major airports. But for the right person, the Western Slope offers the Colorado experience at a fraction of the Front Range cost. Number 4. Central Oregon. Central Oregon is centered around Bend, but also includes the towns of Redmond, Sisters, and Prineville. Bend has exploded in popularity over the last 15 years. It's gone from a quiet mountain town to a full-blown destination for outdoor enthusiasts and remote workers. The result? Bend is expensive. Median home price is now around $630,000. That's not rural pricing. That's Boise or Bozeman pricing. But here's the play. Redmond, 20 minutes north of Bend, has median home prices around $420,000. Prineville, 40 minutes northeast, is around $370,000. Sisters, 20 minutes northwest, is similar to Bend but smaller and tighter knit. You can live in these smaller towns and still access everything Bend offers: the outdoor recreation, the breweries, the food, the culture. But you save significantly on housing. The landscape is high desert on the east side of the Cascade Mountains, ponderosa pine forests, volcanic peaks, and over 300 days of sunshine annually. The climate is mild and dry. Winter lows rarely drop below 15 degrees. Summer highs are typically in the 80s, occasionally hitting the 90s. Almost no humidity. Precipitation is about 11 inches annually. If you're from the Pacific Northwest and tired of rain, Central Oregon is your answer. You get 4 seasons, proximity to skiing and mountains, but none of the Seattle gloom. The outdoor recreation is the main draw. Mount Bachelor for skiing and snowboarding, hundreds of miles of mountain bike trails, the Deschutes River for fly fishing, rock climbing, hiking, trail running. If you're not outdoorsy, there's no reason to be here. Healthcare is excellent. St. Charles Health System operates hospitals in Bend, Redmond, and Prineville. You have access to specialists and advanced care. Internet infrastructure is excellent. Bend has widespread fiber. Redmond and Prineville have fiber in development. Remote work is seamless. The economy is diverse. Tourism, healthcare, tech startups, and increasingly, remote workers. Unemployment is low. The region is economically healthy. The culture is outdoorsy, environmentally conscious, and moderate politically. It's not as liberal as Portland, but not conservative like Eastern Oregon. It's a comfortable middle ground for most people. I spoke with a man named Tyler Green, 41, who moved to Redmond from San Diego in 2021. He works remotely in marketing. Tyler's take was measured. Central Oregon is great if you can afford it. I sold my San Diego condo for $600,000 and bought a house in Redmond for $390,000. I have way more space and access to incredible outdoor recreation, but it's not cheap. My property taxes are higher than I expected. Groceries are expensive because everything is trucked in, and the region is growing fast. Traffic into Bend on weekends is getting annoying. The thing that was special about Central Oregon, that small mountain town vibe, is fading. It's becoming another victim of its own popularity. I don't regret moving here. But I wonder if I should have made this move 5 years ago when it was still affordable. Central Oregon is for people with budget flexibility who prioritize outdoor lifestyle over affordability. If you're looking for the cheapest rural region, this isn't it. If you're looking for a high quality of life rural region and can afford it, Central Oregon delivers. Number 3. Northwest Montana. This is Flathead Valley, Kalispell, Whitefish, Columbia Falls, and the surrounding areas near Glacier National Park. Northwest Montana has been discovered, but it's not yet overrun. It's in that sweet spot where infrastructure and services are excellent, but prices haven't completely exploded. The landscape is spectacular. Mountains, forests, Flathead Lake, which is the largest natural freshwater lake west of the Mississippi. Glacier National Park is 30 minutes from Kalispell. The climate is 4 seasons with cold, snowy winters and mild summers. Kalispell gets about 64 inches of snow annually. Summer highs are typically in the 70s to low 80s. It's genuinely beautiful, but winter is long. The cost of living is rising, but still reasonable compared to other Mountain West destinations. Median home price in Kalispell is around $460,000. In Whitefish, closer to $600,000. In smaller towns like Columbia Falls or Big Fork, $350,000 to $450,000. That's not cheap, but it's significantly less than Jackson Hole, Park City, or Telluride for comparable mountain town living. Healthcare is good. Kalispell Regional Medical Center is a full-service hospital. You have access to most specialists without driving to Missoula or Spokane. Internet infrastructure is good in towns, improving in rural areas. Kalispell and Whitefish have fiber in many neighborhoods. Smaller towns have cable. Remote work is feasible. The economy is based on tourism, healthcare, construction, and increasingly, remote workers. Glacier National Park brings millions of visitors annually, which creates service industry jobs. But those jobs don't pay enough to afford housing, which is creating tension. The culture is interesting. Northwest Montana is politically conservative, but Whitefish in particular has a liberal, cosmopolitan vibe due to the ski resort and the influx of wealthy transplants. The region has had issues with far-right extremism. White nationalists have tried to establish a presence in the area. Most locals reject this, but it's part of the story. I spoke with a couple, Linda and Tom Morrison, both 64, who retired to Big Fork from California in 2023. Linda's perspective was honest. We love it here. The natural beauty is unmatched. We're on Flathead Lake with mountain views. We kayak, hike, and cross-country ski. The community is friendly. But it's expensive for what it is. We paid $520,000 for our house. That's more than we wanted to spend. Property taxes are reasonable, but everything else, groceries, gas, dining out, is pricey because we're somewhat isolated. And the winter is long. We spend January and February in Arizona now because 6 months of winter is too much. If you're not prepared for that, don't move here. Northwest Montana works for people with solid retirement savings or remote income who prioritize outdoor recreation and natural beauty. It doesn't work for people on tight budgets or people who struggle with long winters. But if you can afford it and love mountains, Northwest Montana is one of the best quality of life regions in rural America. Number 2. The Texas Hill Country. The Hill Country is the region west and northwest of Austin and San Antonio. It includes towns like Fredericksburg, Kerrville, Bourne, Wimberley, and dozens of smaller communities. The Hill Country has rolling hills, limestone outcroppings, spring-fed rivers, and a climate that's mild by Texas standards. Here's why it's number 2. The Hill Country has infrastructure. You're never more than an hour from Austin or San Antonio, which means access to major airports, world-class healthcare, and urban amenities when you need them. But you're living in small towns with character, German heritage, wineries, barbecue joints, and a pace of life that's dramatically slower than the cities. The cost of living varies dramatically. Towns close to Austin, like Dripping Springs or Wimberley, have median home prices in the $500,000 to $700,000 range. They're expensive because of proximity to Austin. But go an hour further west. Fredericksburg is around $400,000. Kerrville is $350,000. Smaller towns like Comfort, Medina, or Utopia are in the $250,000 to $350,000 range. You're still in the Hill Country with access to the same rivers, hills, and lifestyle. You're just further from Austin. The climate is one of the region's biggest draws. Mild winters with rare freezes, hot summers but not as brutal as Houston or Dallas. The area gets about 32 inches of rain annually, which keeps things green in spring. The Hill Country is famous for wildflowers. Every spring, the roadsides explode with bluebonnets, Indian paintbrush, and other wildflowers. It's genuinely beautiful. Healthcare is excellent because of proximity to Austin and San Antonio. Most Hill Country towns have clinics. Kerrville has a hospital. You're never more than 45 minutes from major medical centers. Internet infrastructure is good and improving. Most towns have cable internet. Some have fiber. Starlink is widely used in rural areas. Remote work is completely feasible. The economy is based on tourism, especially wine tourism, ranching, retirement services, and increasingly, remote workers and retirees from expensive states. The culture is Texas conservative but with a libertarian streak. The German heritage towns like Fredericksburg have a slightly different vibe, more European in feel, with beer gardens and a strong sense of local history. Property taxes in Texas are high compared to other states. That's how Texas funds government without a state income tax. You'll pay 2 to 2.5% of assessed value annually. On a $300,000 home, that's $6,000 to $7,500 per year. That surprises people coming from low property tax states. I spoke with a couple, Mark and Jenna Phillips, both 57, who moved to Kerrville from Chicago in 2024. Jenna shared their experience in detail. We were looking for warmer weather, lower cost of living, and access to outdoor recreation. The Hill Country checked all the boxes. We bought a house on 5 acres for $370,000. We're on the Guadalupe River. We kayak, we have a garden, we're 20 minutes from downtown Kerrville. The winters are mild, which is exactly what we wanted after 30 years of Chicago winters. But Texas culture is different. It's conservative. People are friendly, but there's definitely a vibe. We're not from here. We're outsiders. And property taxes are shockingly high. We're paying $7,200 annually. That was a surprise. But overall, we're happy. The quality of life is better. We're outside more, we're healthier, we're less stressed. The Texas Hill Country works for people who want mild weather, proximity to major cities, and a relaxed lifestyle. It doesn't work for people who need urban culture daily or who are sensitive to conservative politics. But for retirees from cold climates, remote workers seeking work-life balance, or people who want acreage without complete isolation, the Hill Country is a top-tier choice. Number 1. Southern Appalachia in Tennessee. Specifically the region around Knoxville, extending south toward Chattanooga and east toward the Smoky Mountains. This region includes towns like Maryville, Sevierville, Athens, and dozens of smaller communities nestled in valleys and foothills. Here's why Southern Appalachia in Tennessee is number 1. It has the best combination of affordability, natural beauty, infrastructure, climate, and quality of life of any rural region in America. Let's break it down. Affordability. Median home prices in most of the region range from $180,000 to $300,000 depending on proximity to Knoxville or the Smokies. You can buy a renovated farmhouse on acreage for under $250,000 in many areas. Natural beauty. The Smoky Mountains are among the most visited national parks in America. The landscape is forested mountains, rivers, waterfalls, and valleys. It's stunning year-round. Climate. 4 seasons but mild. Winter lows rarely drop below 20 degrees. Snow is occasional but not heavy. Summer highs are typically in the 80s to low 90s. The area gets about 50 inches of precipitation annually, which keeps everything green and lush. Healthcare. Knoxville has the University of Tennessee Medical Center, a Level 1 trauma center. Chattanooga has multiple hospitals. You have access to world-class healthcare within an hour from most of the region. Internet infrastructure. Chattanooga has municipal fiber internet with gigabit speeds. Knoxville has widespread fiber. Even smaller towns have cable or improving fiber infrastructure. Remote work is completely feasible. Economy. The region is economically diverse. Manufacturing, healthcare, tourism, University of Tennessee, Oak Ridge National Laboratory, and the Volkswagen plant in Chattanooga. There are actual jobs here, not just service industry or remote work. Culture. East Tennessee is conservative, but it's also practical and welcoming. The region has a strong sense of place and community. People have roots here going back generations, but they're also used to outsiders because of tourism and the universities. Cost of living. Tennessee has no state income tax. Property taxes are low. Groceries and gas are affordable. Your money goes further here than almost anywhere else. I spoke with multiple people who moved to the region. One couple, Rachel and Tom Stevens, both 46, moved to Maryville from Boston in 2022. Rachel's story captures why this region is number 1. We were completely priced out of Boston. We both work remotely. We started looking at rural areas nationwide. We visited 10 different regions. Southern Appalachia checked every box. We bought a house on 12 acres for $295,000. We have a creek running through our property. We're 20 minutes from Knoxville for shopping and restaurants. We're 40 minutes from the Smokies for hiking. The weather is perfect. We have 4 seasons, but none of them are extreme. Our cost of living dropped by more than half. Our quality of life improved dramatically. We have space, we have nature, we have community. The people here are genuine. Yes, it's conservative. We're moderate politically, and we've learned to navigate that. But people are kind. They help when you need it. Our neighbors brought us food when we moved in. They helped us clear trees after a storm. That doesn't happen in Boston. We feel like we're actually living instead of just surviving. This was the best decision we ever made. Southern Appalachia in Tennessee is not perfect. The summers are humid, the politics are conservative. Some areas have poverty and limited economic opportunity. But for the vast majority of people looking to relocate to rural America, this region offers the best overall package. You get natural beauty comparable to Colorado or Montana at a fraction of the price. You get mild weather without the brutal winters of the upper Midwest or the extreme heat of the Southwest. You get access to major cities, healthcare, and airports without living in those cities. You get a functioning economy with diverse job opportunities. You get genuine community and a culture that values family, faith, and stability. For retirees, this region stretches fixed income further than almost anywhere. For remote workers, it provides quality of life while keeping costs low. For families, it offers safe communities, good schools in many districts, and outdoor recreation. Southern Appalachia in Tennessee is the Goldilocks zone of rural America. Not too hot, not too cold, not too expensive, not too isolated, not too conservative, not too liberal. Just right for the widest range of people. 10 regions, 10 different versions of rural America. Some are mountain towns with expensive housing but incredible outdoor access. Some are forgotten Midwest valleys with cheap land and tight communities. Some are warm weather havens for retirees. Some are cold weather playgrounds for people who love winter. But they all offer something cities can't: space, lower cost of living, connection to nature, slower pace, actual community. The myth is that rural America is dying everywhere. The reality is that some regions are thriving, some are reinventing themselves, some are quietly working while the headlines focus on the failures. The question isn't whether rural America can work. The question is whether you can work in rural America. Because moving to a small town isn't just changing your address, it's changing your relationship to time, to neighbors, to community, to yourself. Most people will watch this video and think it sounds nice, then they'll go back to their lives and do nothing. But some of you are different. Some of you are ready. For you, one of these 10 regions might be the answer you've been looking for. The land is there, the towns are there, the opportunity is there. What you do with it is up to you.